Hello, everyone, and welcome to the table. So, recently, Vosteed wanted to send me a care package, so to speak, and so I had no idea initially what I was going to get, but one of these knives that they sent over is right here. This is the Vosteed Raccoon, the Raccoon. So, again, I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts and opinions on this knife, but Vosteed is a company, up-and-coming company. They have done a lot of things right. In fact, most of their knives that I have handled, all their knives I've handled, honestly, have been really excellent quality. They're making a lot of great design choices. So if you're browsing Vosteed or if you're looking for a recommendation, I mean, you could stop now and go browse their site and see what they have. But most of the stuff they have right there is super solid. So what it comes down to is design. So the Raccoon right here, let's check this one out. Really cool handle shape right here. It has this nice big swell for your hands. So it feels great in hand. And so this particular one, the green color, that is micarta. So we have a green micarta handle here, and it's super lightweight. So in hand, this is a fairly big knife, as you can see, but it's super lightweight. So let's go ahead and weigh it first off before we do anything else, give you an idea of what we are working with here. So the Vosteed Raccoon weighs in at 3.1 ounces. So what are we getting for 3.1 ounces? Let's go ahead and pull out the ruler, give you an idea of how big this knife is. So we can see our blade length from tip to handle is almost 3.5 inches. And so the sharpened cutting edge, you can see right there, is closer to 3 inches. And the overall length is about 7.75. So we get a nice, big, beefy handle. But even though I say beefy, it's thick, but it's not heavy. Like in hand, like you can feel the balance is very much weighed right towards where the lock is. So it feels really good in hand action-wise. So that's awesome. And speaking of locks, check out what we have here. So this is a Axis style lock. I think it's a crossbolt lock or crossbar lock is what a lot of companies call it. But it's essentially very similar to the Benchmade Axis lock mechanism. So you pull back on the little bar right here, and the blade can be opened and closed. So action is super smooth. You can see that blade swings very freely. So it makes the knife very fidgetable because, of course, we have the dual thumb studs. So you can flick it with your thumb all day long. But when it comes down to it, working this crossbar lock, very fidgetable, very easy way to actuate the knife, very fun to work with, and very secure. So, of course, the blade has no play. Lockup is nice and tight. And being completely flow-through design in the handle right there, you can see easy to clean. And inside the handle right here, even though this is super lightweight, you can see they still put some liners in there. So there's like steel liners in there that they skeletonized out, put those holes in it to make the handle as lightweight as possible. So like if this knife floated away, I would not be surprised. It feels that light in hand, you know? And the blade, very interesting shape, nice drop point design. This particular one is this black coating on it. Again, dual thumb studs, Vosteed name right there. And we have the model name, of course, the Raccoon, as well as our blade steel. So this is going to be that 14C28N, very lovely Sandvik steel and a great everyday carry steel. It is kind of the new de facto standard. So, 2 years ago, that would have been D2 steel. Now we're kind of moving more towards that 14C28N, which is more of a true stainless steel. So the action, of course, on this big blade, like I said, is super smooth. So there's really no default with that or no fault with that. And our pocket clip design right there, deep carry, has the logo on it. Very small and unobtrusive, so that's not going to stick out or anything. Just looks like a black pocket clip. And we do have a reversible option here. So they actually included a filler tab. So we don't just have an open hole on the handle, that we have this nice little steel tab right there that can be used to make the knife look a little more whole, a little more decorative, I guess you could say. And that's always nice. A nice feature that's not required, but it's something that's great when it's included because it shows care and attention to detail. That's really what it comes down to. Things like filler tabs. We have a lanyard hole in the back right here. So you can use your lanyard on the pocket knife if you're a lanyard type of guy or gal. But overall, this is a pretty impressive knife. Looking straight down the lines of the blade, you can see the thickness of the blade. There is actually some jimping there on the spine as well. So in your standard grip, that works in your favor. A little bit of a choil right here. So, I mean, you could choke up, I suppose, if you wanted to. I don't know. My finger gets kind of close to that sharpened edge doing it that way. But you can see the design, the shape was meant to utilize that choil as an extra choke up spot. So feel free to utilize that if you're comfortable with that. But I think the handle is big enough. I don't feel the need necessarily to get up that close maybe, but it's there as an option for you. And so handling this knife, again, I told you at the beginning of the video, Vosteed sent this to me. So again, I appreciate that. I love getting a hand on their designs, but I realized when I was handling this knife, it felt really familiar. You know, it's like, I think I've seen this knife before. I think I've handled this knife before. And, I had to say I had to go look in the collection, and I actually already have a Vosteed Raccoon. Believe it or not, this is my second one now. It had totally slipped my mind that I had purchased it, and that's the problem when you have so many knives. I tend to forget what I own. So here is another Vosteed Raccoon right here. So this particular one, you can see the crazy color on it. It has the sprinkle coloration. This is all G10. And this one was a collaboration with Crispy Donut Community. So that's why it's colored that way. But we can see side by side here. And it's actually kind of cool because, of course, we have a satin blade on this one versus the black coated blade. G10 versus micarta handles. And actually, let's see if there's a weight difference there. It's probably not going to be very much if there is a weight difference. So that micarta was 3.1 and the G10's 3.3. So the micarta is a little bit lighter than the G10, but not really a significant amount. But beyond that, the actual action is pretty darn similar. So feeling these knives in hand, we can see the difference in markings there. One has that CDC, Crispy Donut Community logo on there. But other than that, the pocket clip, again, satin versus coated. So it depends if you like your knives shiny or more tactical, more subdued, I suppose. But it doesn't get any shinier, any gaudier than our donut knife right here. So that's my bad. I realized they sent this, and then I'm like, this is super familiar. Because once you feel this knife in hand, like once you do it once, you realize, okay, I think I've held this before. And sure enough, now I have two Vosteed Raccoons. But either way, it is an excellent design. So always great motifs with their stuff. The pouch includes extra Omega springs right here. So these are the springs that run this action up and down. So if these springs ever snap in here, you can replace them with the included extras. So that's always a nice thing. Now, in my years of handling knives, I have never had an Omega spring in the handle break, but I've heard of it happening. So it's always a possibility. And the fact that they include that in the pouch is always a nice little extra thing. So let me know what you think about the Vosteed Raccoon. Not a new model by any means, but it's really a good one. So drop a comment below, and I hope you all have a nice day. See you later.